Ooh, what's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, Nestlemania alongside for the ride is a man that is always a fan of punk life, basic punkonomics, JC.
I love you, Solo.
I thought he was going to say I love you, Nestle, I'll be honest, but he didn't.
I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, well, I can't lie. So
Jesus Christ.
don't use my initials in vain.
It's not your initials. It's everybody.
JC, Jesus Christ. Come on.
Well, fair
John
enough.
Cena.
JC Mateo. The list goes on.
That's JM, but sure.
JC
Yeah,
is
is.
JC.
He's a meaty JC.
He's a meaty JC.
Yeah.
What would you be then?
Not as meaty JC.
Slim?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Look, JC looking more like Mordecai than Jacob. Oof, right off the gate there, baby.
Well, I'm not Samoan, so
that's true. I think he was basically calling you just Lily White is what he was calling you.
I mean, I am pretty white. Can't control that, unfortunately. I could get a spray tan, but Kevin Owens doesn't like spray tans, and neither do I.
Was that not one of the best things you've ever seen?
It was amazing. Those two together are they're great. They're just.
I just love how much Kevin Owens starts laughing, and then you just see Cody go like with the drink every time. He's just fucking losers. I love
that show's great because it's just one of those like it just loosens them up, and you get someone like Kevin who it's a different element for him. And I mean, when you get people that are like that close, like of a friendship, like some good stuff can really come out. So it just there's if you haven't listened to Cody and KO, you should turn off this podcast and listen to that.
Anyway, we got a lot to talk about here. We've got Night of Champions, we've got Raw, we got SmackDown, we've got some other stuff going on here as well. So where do we always start, JC? Actually, you know what? I should pump the brakes. I should probably start with Night of Champions.
Well, we start always in the shine, but we're going to start with Night of Champions, and it's going to start with some shine because our king has been crowned. Cody Rhodes is headed to SummerSlam, baby, as expected. Defeated his pal, Randy Orton, to qualify as the number one contender and face John Cena for the WWE Championship in the main event of SummerSlam, Nestlemania. Look at Cody and Randy. Like, you know how I feel about Cody and Randy. So, I loved it.
19 minutes, 45 seconds. A lot happening here. Old school wrestling here. There was a figure 4 leg lock, which you don't see very much anymore. There was a lot of old school wrestling going on. Like I said, I think Cody put in a lot of the work here, and Orton was doing most of the selling. I like the back. I thought that was a nice little touch that the back was kind of the whole story there. And then, of course, Randy kind of guts it through the end, hesitates on the punt, and then even rips off the buckle. Because if you listened on Friday, we're kind of jumping all over the place here, but listen on Friday, he said, it's going to take whatever it takes for me to win. I think Cody said something similar where he said, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Of course, hits him right in the sternum and the ribs there, and then turns around, eats a crossroads and wins. And then what I thought was more telling, JC, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, he kind of just sits there and says, look, I understand you don't like me right now. I'm beating all your favorites, but as soon as SummerSlam rolls around, I'm getting my belt back, whether you like it or not. And I was like, ooh, okay.
Cody has to have an edge to evolve from this because it's one of those things. Like when you're facing John Cena and Randy Orton all the time, like two of the GOATs of all time, and especially over there, like for some reason, Randy Orton has just always been the most over guy in Saudi. I mean, he's always the most over guy with me, so I get it. But it's just like it's one of those things that it's always a tough spot for that babyface to be in, and this is why, as like a Cody guy, like. Depending what they have planned, I was like, I don't want him to be the one to beat Cena because it's just one of those like whatever. But I mean, you see it on the entrances no matter what, and the pop when they come out, like it's just two super over guys facing each other. And as the match goes, like if you're in the crowd, it's very natural to want to root for the guy that's not expected to win. Like I do that when I watch sports all the time. Even if I like a team better, if there's an underdog, I'm like, I'm probably gonna root for them because it's more fun. And as someone who is an agent of chaos and enjoys chaos, I always root for the chaotic angle. So, but yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. I think SummerSlam will be a lot of fun. I expect them to kind of get back their match that they had at WrestleMania because that was obviously a huge dud. The crowd should be electric, but I am curious because once again, much like WrestleMania, SummerSlam's a 2-night show. So that's a long weekend. So we'll see how that goes as well.
I am curious because you said you enjoy watching the underdogs, but you don't always bet on the underdogs.
Well, yeah, because they don't always win.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you bet on, like in UFC this past weekend, I bet a lot of underdogs, and a lot of underdogs won. So JC made a lot of money.
It was refreshing to hear those AEW boos. Just wish it wasn't from the Saudis. Jesus, Joe. All right.
Well, of course they're booing an American, even though like Saudi is like one of our biggest allies right now, which people don't
Anyway,
realize.
we're not talking about sad stuff.
I know
We're
it's a
not
fact. It's just true. It's literally a fact.
I am allergic.
No, we got to talk
politics.
about Nestlemania because you get all these virgins on the internet who just have no intelligence, who start spreading these things, and it's just like it just starts this like fear mongering thing. It's like the nonsense last week. Like, as weird as it is to say, Saudi Arabia was one of the safest places for him to be last week for an American. Now, airports and traveling there and getting back, different story. But like, just like the amount of like bad information from just dorks on the internet who are just uneducated and don't understand what is going on in the world right now and how the world works. It's just like, find better sources of information, people, because the amount of just stupid shit that was being spread last week was insane. That's all.
Stoops in the house and he says, "USA, USA, USA."
USA.
It's just me, USA. Anyway, look, there's a lot that we can get to here, but I'm just, as a Cody Rhodes guy, flat out, gun to your head, JC, right now, were you satisfied? Did this exceed your expectations? Did you were feeling a little underwhelmed after the match? Not necessarily the fact that he won, but the match itself.
I enjoyed it. I'm still looking forward to the day when hopefully Randy Orton is the heel and we get the true match I want to see between these two. But for a baby on baby, I very much enjoyed this.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on to the next matchup, which I thought was kind of interesting. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight, 14 minutes, even on the dot. I'll say this much, folks. I was shocked how good this match was in my head. I had zero expectations. I thought it was a really fun match. I will even go as far as saying I think this might be one of the best women's matches of the year so far, in my opinion. Maybe one of the best matches I've seen in the whole year. Maybe that's probably hyperbolic, but I'll leave it up to JC or the TJJC crew to figure out what best matches of the year. But I really loved it. What I thought was wonderful about it was just that Roxanne got involved. I thought Raquel did a great job killing it at the first half of this, and then she took her beating in the second half. And that fucking finish at the end, up the top of the table for Riptide, was just super spectacular, visually amazing. I'm glad the referee was holding the table. Not many people do that. And I just thought it was a great showing for both. I am getting a little tired. I mean, I understand that Rhea Ripley is a superstar upon superstars. Like, she's a superstar, and you got to have her front and center. But this whole like chasing the title thing is getting very old for me. And I just want to see I want to see the next thing for her. I don't want to just I feel like we're swimming and treading here with her because it's like I don't know, maybe you feel the same way or not, JC, but it feels like she's super over. We don't want to mess with it. It doesn't matter what she does. It'll always work versus like, can we put a new layer on this? Can we put something else in there? I don't know. I thought the match was spectacular. I'm nervous about what happens next.
So I will address that last part in a moment. But when you said interesting when previewing this match, that caught me off guard there because to me, this was the best match on the card.
Okay.
I thought these two were phenomenal. These two, I don't know if you remember, these two had a banger in NXT as well. It was probably Raquel's best NXT match. Like, these two have just had chemistry the whole career. And I think that's why, like, you see in this matchup here at this time, because it's a good way to get Rhea like back towards the title. And I don't think this is crazy to say Nestlemania, but I think Raquel Rodriguez is having one of the most underrated years of anyone in the company, I think, in the wrestling world, because we kind of talked about it towards the beginning of the year of like, it's just like, in these matches, like, she's standing out because she's just doing such a good job. And I think she's just like gotten better and better. And she's someone like, I wouldn't really call her a breakout because we've seen her have success in the past. We saw her go down, have success, but going what she went through and coming back. And for someone that like, is never the biggest fan favorite, I think a lot of people like respect her, but I just think like the job that she has done since her return, she's continuing to peak at the right times. And I truly think she's been one of the most, if not the most underrated wrestler of 2025 here. I think I said 24 earlier. I meant 25. But to address your second point, I think this is more of an issue with the women's division. It's the same reason why we got sick of Bianca. It's the same reason why we get sick of Charlotte. The men are afforded to have feuds, not for the title. So they're not always chasing titles because there's just more men's feuds going on than women's feuds. For the woman, if you're not challenging for a title, there's a chance you're not on television. And something that has helped the woman as they've gotten more women is they've added more titles. So it's even still, it's like, there's not too many. It's very rare that you get the Jade and Naomi. It's very rare that you get the non-title feuds for the woman. So for someone like Rhea, like, yeah, she got one mini one here with Raquel, but she's always just seemingly to be in the title picture, because if you're having a top women's feud on the show that Rhea's on, she has to be there until she starts challenging for a mid-card title. So I think it's just one of those, like, it's a problem that has always been in WWE. I think it's why the Charlotte fatigue, why we have Becky fatigue sometimes. Bianca's the same way, because they have to be on TV every week. And if there's only one, like, top level women's feud for the title, that's what they're involved in. So I think that's always been an overarching thing for the women. I think we see it all the time in WrestleMania season, but it's something that, like, every now and then they give you the nice Jade Naomi feud, like a nice feud, not for the title, but for the most part, it's always around the title. So I think you're constantly getting them chasing or whatever. And I think it creates the fatigue with some of those top woman stars.
Raquel just needs to find her mic skills as a heel. Great improvement, says the Joe Stopper. I've been saying a lot lately that I'm just super surprised, and I'm very happy for her, because I think the Liv thing, like, Liv has been such an instrumental star for the WWE the last year, 2 years, especially last year. But Raquel took the opportunity of having your tag team partner go down to the fullest extent. And we always talk about this on the show. Maximize your minutes. When we're fans watching, it doesn't matter if you're Chelsea Green, who gets 30 seconds, she maximizes her minutes. Raquel Rodriguez is not only maximizing her minutes on screen in her promo, but also in the ring. And I think she's not necessarily the best promo in the world, and she's working on it. But in the ring, I was watching Rhea and Raquel go at it, and I thought to myself, man, it's such a believable thing. Both of them are pretty standard against each other. There's not like, yes, there's more muscle maybe from Rhea, but there's just tenacity from Raquel that it seems like it's equally matched. So I'm very happy for her. Obviously, I loved her in NXT, and obviously I kind of fell out of love because I just felt like they couldn't find their footing with her, and it's not her fault particularly. But to see where she's going right now, I'm just excited to see what happens, because like I said, I don't think they're not gonna strap the rocket to her, but she's somebody that when I tune in on a Monday, I'm pleasantly happy I'm excited to see where she goes and what she does next.
Yeah, she plays a very important role. And to Joe's point about the promo, I think it's one of those, like, pairing her with Liv, she doesn't necessarily need to be the best promo, but I think without it, and especially with someone like Roxanne, who's much improved, but isn't, like, fully fleshed out as a promo either, it'll be interesting to see going forward how this is. But then again, they're part of Judgment Day, so you can always throw Dom out there with them, or Finn, if they need a little assist. But yeah, it certainly will be interesting going forward.
I'm assuming Danny's talking about something else here. The biggest women's feud title is for a title, just not the top title.
It's true. That Intercontinental title feud is red hot, baby. That's the match I'm looking forward to at Evolution in a couple weeks. So,
and the Nestle curse is nearly. Don't say that, Joseph.
It's true. You jumped off her, and she had her best push. You were on her, and she fell apart. You jumped off her. She had her best push in NXT, and now you're starting to get back on. So hopefully, since she's already gone through the full gauntlet of the Nestle curse, that she's immune. Hopefully, she's built up an immunity.
I can only imagine Nestle's reaction when R&R were on top of that table. Look, I was sitting there thinking to myself, it looked just like a menacing thing for it to happen. And it was a safe landing. It was well executed, the whole thing. But I was just sitting there going, thank Christ the referee was holding it. Because I had a flashback to something that happened to me when I was in the backyard. And my brother, no lie, right? I'm battling somebody on the top. It's a 6 foot, 2 6-foot ladders. And we're doing the Edge and Christian spot, right? So we're battling on top. My brother pulls the leg of the table. We go flying right down to the ground. So what's the matter?
You hear that thunder?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. We might end up losing power at this point, and then we won't have the podcast.
I saw some lightning before I came in here, but that's some loud ass thunder. Damn.
Yeah. So we desperately need the water over here in America, or at least in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. We got a heat wave again.
Yeah, so it's it's the dog days of summer. Anyway, let's move on to the next part of Night of Champions, where we have Sami Zayn defeats Karrion Kross 13 minutes 35 seconds by pinfall. Standard stuff here. I think it was pretty good. It was a lot more slower than I expected, because Sami Zayn is much more fast paced. I don't know if that's Karrion Kross thing. I don't know if that's a dance partner, JC, but it was fine. I think it is the way it was supposed to go.
I don't think so. I didn't like this at all.
Really? Okay.
No, because it's one of those, like, and I know the feud's still going, but it's such a weird thing with Sami, because they still are trying to push him as his underdog. Sami hasn't been an underdog since he fucking beat Gunther. Like, that gimmick died, and that's fine, but they still try to do it. And I think it just, like, it comes off as less genuine. And I don't know. This would have been a really nice spot, especially over there, where you could have done something with Cross, whether like however he does it, like cheats. But and obviously I know Sammy's huge over there, but it just like I don't know. It feels to me like it's who knows. Maybe they do a second when they do the second match here. Cross wins. I highly doubt it. I'm sure Sammy's going to run through him again. But it's one of these times when you get one of these guys who's just in the mid card and just struggling, who just naturally gets there. Like just to see them like take a little flyer on it, like and especially like because it's like I think we agree like Sammy loses so much he's kind of immune to losing because like whenever they pull that trigger it ain't gonna matter. But I don't know. To me, like this was the low point to me. It didn't do much for me. The match, like you said, pretty pedestrian. But I normally like always don't get super upset with results because I'm watching the show. I'm here like Triple H says, "Oh, you enjoying the show?" Whoa. But I don't know. This one bummed me out a little because it feels like they're just not going to take advantage of this opportunity.
Well, hopefully we're wrong because it seems like we'll talk about it more on Monday, but it seems like it's not over till it's over. So we'll think about it. To me, the next one was the most surprising as Solo Sikoa defeats Jacob Fatu to win the United States title at 12 minutes and 5 seconds here. You want to talk about Samoan Palooza.
My goodness. I saw Tongaloa. I love that fucker.
Come back.
I love Camacho. He's too good to be my comeback this week. He's too early in the show. But I was just like, this is great. Like, it just is his fucking silly, goofy face. And then it's one of those things. Like, I love this gimmick with Solo. It's like, oh, Jacob, you're fucking ditching me, you piece of shit. Don't worry. I got another Samoan in the bag, and I'm going to call him Tala because he's taller than you. It's just like, I don't know. It's funny because it's like, we know that WWE is going to have an endless supply of Samoans because they just keep signing them. And this one's been in the works for a while. But yeah, no, I think this was the right move because, you know, it's Jacob and Solo always made sense. This feud makes sense. It's going to be a long-term feud and it's better to have Jacob chase it. And it's better to have Solo who like, you know, kind of like got cucked a little by Roman, in that tribal chief match. And Solo's been working his ass off to get everyone back. And he's done it through comedy and people appreciate him and love him now. But it's like, this was time for him to get his power back. And whenever you have a faction like that, it's always better with titles. We'll talk about Judgment Day on Monday, especially as a heel. But Solo needed something. He needed that prop, and the U.S. title looks damn good on his shoulder. So I'm excited for this feud to continue. I wouldn't be surprised if the feud goes through SummerSlam, but we got fucking Tongas and Talas and Loas and Moas and Joas and JCs and just I fucking love it. Bring on all the Samoans. Give me a super. Every time Solo loses a Samoan, bring another one. Just keep bringing them in. So the whole roster is going to be nothing but Samoans.
I was loving just the facial expressions of Solo Sikoa, just the way like the way he was just like, man, he is such a good actor and he's got such great facials and such great just comedic timing, but also like just the right amount of trash talk. So like, to me, he's one of like people are like, oh, I can't take him seriously, or oh, I don't see him as a main eventer. I beg to differ. I would say now that he's going to end up having like, what is it? There's 3 of them now, 4 altogether, like
Tama,
5.
When Tama comes back, yeah.
Know what I mean? Like, know what I mean? But like the 5 of them, I think this is the best it's going to ever make him look because as I look at those people behind him, they're all kind of like role players. They're not superstars in a way. And I think that props up Solo enough for me to be like, all right, he's starting out with the United States title, but I think I could talk myself into a world heavyweight champion Solo Sikoa down the line now, because I think when you look at it, Jacob Fatu was really just, I mean, the minute we saw him, we were like, this sucks for Solo. Like, the Roman Reigns thing sucked.
You're the combo of Jacob and Roman.
Yes. It was a perfect storm of fuckery for him because he was in a no-win situation, as you stated, JC, a long time ago, where he had to basically carry that feud while Roman wasn't there. Then Roman shut up, punched him in the face, took his lay. And then, of course, Jacob Fatu just became this ginormous superstar so quickly because of how likable he is and how real he is and authentic. And it just felt like they just couldn't get out of their own way with it. So for me, I look at this and say, this is the right type of character. This is the right cast of characters for whatever they want to call this. They can call it the bloodline. They can call it the legacy. They can call it whatever the fuck they want. Just be gangsters. That's all I want from this entire. And you know what? It's going to work because they're all henchmen. Mm-hmm. That's why it works. Henchmen. The Bloodline was 5 stars.
Yep.
This is a leader with henchmen. I feel like I'm watching a movie with Solo Sikoa. And honestly, I'll say this much too. And no, I don't know if anybody's seen this on social. Go back, type it, go find it. There's Solo waiting to be on the post game. And the fans are just giving him shit the whole time. And the way he was acting, I was like, that's a fucking superstar. That guy gets it.
Yeah.
It's
like, he's one of those guys, and it's one of those, like, I mean, I think he showed you his range when he was doing that Roman stuff, and people just soured on him because it was hard, obviously, but Solo is still so young. And I think when they signed him, like, they knew this, like, the Usos are stars, but like their younger brother here, like, he's the guy, they called him Solo for a reason. He's the guy that can be the single star. He's just still young in his career, and he is still developing, but it's just like the strides he has taken. It's the same reason why I always with Dominic Mysterio is like, just be patient. Sometimes you get these guys, they get called up earlier than they would be if they weren't fucking related to who they're related to. And you have to watch them like go through struggles, and people have shorter leashes for them. Because when you have the name, it's just like, you want to count them out faster because like, oh, they were handed this opportunity, which they kind of were. But sometimes it's like they have to take that harder road. But it's like the reason why a guy like Dom and a guy like Solo get put in those positions, because yeah, they have the connections, but it's also just like people believe in them. And I've always believed in Solo, and I think you're starting to see some of the fruits. I do think he's a future world champion someday. I don't think it's a rush, but because again, he's still so young, but he's already proven he can do the comedy. He can lead a faction. He can play serious when he has to. He cuts great, like you said, the gangster promos. But it's like you said, what I love about this is he is calling them his army. It's not like his bloodline, which is like, he might still call it that, but he's referring to these men as army because, like you said, they are true henchmen. They are true soldiers. And that is why the Jacob had to break off, because Jacob wasn't a good soldier. He was too big of a star. But JC Mateo, he is what he is. He's already fucking like 40 something. So whatever. And these other guys, it's like, I love Tongaloa. I can joke about it, but he's a fucking soldier. Like, it is what it is. So this is a perfect storm for Solo right now.
How dare Danny, by the way? Blasphemy. Listen, the Mean Street Posse is a famous fucking stable, and I will not have you say anything bad about the MSP on this program. Okay? Mean Street Posse is a top 10 faction of all time. Okay? In my eyes. Anyway, nobody matches the Charisma Peak Gas. Exactly. Thank you very much, Joseph. Look, we'll move on here because we've got a lot of love for Solo. I love you, Solo. Moving on, Jade Cargill beats Asuka to become the queen of the ring. 8 minutes, 35 seconds. Now, look, I mean, we kind of assumed that it was going to be Jade winning this fucking thing. So I don't really have a problem.
It was the right move to have her win.
I think Asuka did a great job here, making her look like $1 million. I will say this much. I think this was Jade's best outing I've seen in a while. And I think I loved looking at her and thinking to myself, that's a star. You can't negate when you look at her. You're like, that's a fucking star. You see the Storm gimmick. The Storm is coming. She should be in Marvel. She should be in X-Men. Look at that woman. She is a fucking statue. Like, that's something people worship. You know what I mean? But then the only thing I was thinking, I was like, okay, I'm seeing her sell a little bit more. That made my heart warm up a little bit because I was just like, but then she forgot towards the end, which I was like, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Somebody must be working with her because I was like, okay, she's selling a little bit more and not necessarily going, oh God, what's the next spot? You can see it in her head. And I think like, if she wants to be the star that she's supposed to be, she can do the promo. Her in-ring work is getting better. But I think that last thing is the selling. I just want to see her more in danger. Like I just want to know what that looks like because I feel like as a fan, I know she's a fucking monster. I know she's a stud. She's a star. But like, I want someone to be, if I'm going to root for her, I want to see her in peril, at least a little bit. And I've never felt that way about her because I don't know if she's willing to let herself be vulnerable in that aspect.
Again, I think it's a mix. It's like, it comes down to booking too. It's like, she's like female, like not like Goldberg, but she kind of is. Like, that's how AEW booked her. Like, it just is one of those, like, she shouldn't be in peril because like the one time she is, it should feel like a massive deal. But obviously someone like Asuka, like you said, she did sell at points because we know Asuka's very physical and top, but WWE's in such a weird place because they do have so many top women, and Jade's been put in these situations where she's doing lawn matches right away. And it's just, we know her inexperience and they're working with her, but it's one of those, like, they're willing to let her go out there and fail a little bit and just learn on the fly because they probably think that's the best way to develop her. They're like, we can keep her in the PC forever, but at the end of the day, with someone who's this good, we want her on TV because she's going to make us a lot of money. And it's also just like, she's got to learn on the fly. It's just, I think it's just the easiest way with her, and that's where they're doing it. Because AEW, it was a lot different. Like most of her matches were squashes. She had a few like lengthy ones. I think her one with Statlander was probably her best one. So it's still going to be a work in progress, but I think it's one of those, like, she's a fucking star. So you have to push her like a star. You have to treat her like a star. And she has one of the more interesting women's storylines with the links to Naomi and Bianca. And then they've been teasing this thing with Tiffy that SummerSlam just makes a lot of sense. So we'll see what they do with it.
Interesting. Moving on.
This fucking thing. Good Lord.
John Cena defeats CM Punk 26 minutes and 15 seconds. Holy shit.
Well, there was about fucking 25 minutes of running. So good Lord. Like it's one of those, like this match, I was really enjoying Nestlemania. And then what happened? When did I stop enjoying the match? When Fuckhead came out. Dude, he is literally like a fucking wet towel, but it's just fucking a piss towel. Everything right now. But I've seen it in Punk. I thought we're doing a good job. It was enjoyable. And it's like, I knew this was going to happen, but then it's just like fucking rinse and repeat with these run-ins, man. And I know like the SummerSlam match is going to have probably plenty of good gut too. It's part of the Cena reign, but it's just like, this one felt just like a lot of gaga, a lot when I don't think they needed as much as they did.
So I would beg to differ.
Fucking dumbass. Oh my God. Jeff Hardy used to fucking do this shit too. Fucking pisses me off. Come on.
He was waiting to come down the aisle because Braun needed to hit his cue. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I will say this much. I'll defend, as much as I'm not a Rollins guy, and I think he's just not for me. I will say this much. I did like the aspect of Rollins getting interjected in there and Cena kind of fighting back. So, you know what I mean? Like that's you're gonna say this?
Comment got me.
Travis Scott needs to burn some sage around Seth Rollins.
Oh, man. I forgot about Travis Scott.
I'll say this about Seth Rollins, right? Like we can talk about everything on Monday, whatever. But I will say this much. The internal struggle that Cena had throughout this entire match was amplified in terms of Seth Rollins being like, I killed you. I'm alive now. And then they were like, you're not supposed to be here. I'm going to do whatever I want. Like, so I feel like Cena and Punk had to team up to get Seth Rollins and Goons out, as well as like, everybody else that get to fucking run in there. I've lost track at that point because it was like Penta, Sammy. It just kept fucking going. And it was like, okay, great. And like, there were so many great callbacks with the meme face and then the fucking trying to kick him in the nuts. And I like the ending where like, Seth Rollins once again, like Cena couldn't beat Punk on his own. Rollins helped him for the second time to beat Punk. I like that aspect, as well as all the Money in the Bank callbacks and like beating up the referee and like all this shit. So like, to me, is it a lot of gaga? Probably too much of it, but I think a lot of it made sense. And here's the thing, like from a Cena viewpoint, right? I know we can shit on the Rollins stuff all we want, but I think it was very instrumental in terms of like, is there more virtuous Cena coming to us? Like you can see it shining through in those moments. So I'm willing to put that in there. I don't think we needed the fucking run-in palooza that we got. I would have been fine with just Rollins, not the fucking extras, but like, it is what it is.
They just did too much here, in my opinion. It's one of those, like, it was just too much. It's just too much.
Daniel from overseas says they tried with Seth and AOP. It didn't work, and now it's happening again. Now, how dare you? Because Braun Breaker and Ozzilla, when I heard Ozzilla, I went, ooh, I like that name. Get it on a t-shirt now. And they got a cool mix-up on Monday, so I was okay with it,
We can talk about that in the heat, because this shit's the drizzling shit.
But, like,
stay tuned.
I don't know. It just Cena hitting a big AA on Big Bronson, though. As Bursky from the fucking Dark Shadows emerges. Why don't you go fucking play some games, you streamer? I don't know. Did he fall asleep again? I don't know.
Wow, Jay fucking being mean tonight.
Hey, look, you know what? I'm just glad Bursky showed up for once. That's all. Then he probably went back to sleeping. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, look, I love when Cena does AA. It's the big guys. I like big moves. I like meat, but it's again, we're about to go on the shine. We can't talk about this shit yet.
All right.
What do you think of Champions overall? I think overall I enjoyed it.
I'd give it a solid B.
Yeah.
So why are you so offended? I've been here the whole time. I don't know. You don't say anything, Bertsky.
He's a lurker. He usually lurks.
You lurk, but I miss you. I miss your comments, Bertsky. He makes it sound. He said to on this program and offline. He's like, sometimes Bertsky is lurking. I can't know that. I don't see who's in here until you comment. And secondly, JC makes a joke all the time. He's like, he's probably playing video games, half-heartedly listening to us, or he's falling asleep, or he's doing something else, like eating, I don't know, something. And then like
people do, bro.
You know, so
Nestle wants everyone's undivided attention. It's like
that's true.
Take notes.
Pay attention to me, Bertsky.
Oh my God, you're so fucking needy.
I'm so needy, Nestle, right now. Pay attention. There, you happy now? Let's get hopeful. No, Shine, whatever. Where are we?
We're going to the Shine, baby, and we're going right to Monday Night Raw, and we're going to the fucking meat match of the week. An absolute banger. Rusev defeats Sheamus. This was like a 4-segger, maybe even a 5-segger. Nestlemania. I cannot tell you how hard my meat was for this entire meat match. It was everything I wanted from this and more. And obviously Rusev stands tall as he should. Our boy Ben texted us about Sheamus today. I don't know if you responded. I think I did. I remember seeing
I didn't get a chance to. I was busy.
Yeah, but that match was fucking awesome, and it deserves to lead the Shine. You can't I wish it was a pay-per-view match, and there weren't commercials, because that was fucking amazing. I'd watch it again. They're probably gonna do it again.
Someone was like best of 7 series, which I don't necessarily hate the idea of that, but
why not? Why the fuck not?
I don't know, but then they'll end up becoming a tag team after that, just like Dabah. So
they've been tag team before.
I know, League of Champions or whatever,
League of Nations,
whatever. Yeah, whatever. Who gives a shit? That was probably one of the worst factions of all time.
Oh, I love that faction. It was like
you would love that faction. Anything with the Del Rio, you love.
Del Rio sucks. Guthrie was the Del Rio guy.
Was he?
Yeah. When he first debuted, when he was like unpopular and like when he won the Rumble and stuff, like he was a big Del Rio guy.
Really?
I don't think he is anymore, because Del Rio's a piece of shit. But back day when he was new on the scene, I thought he did good work back then. He wasn't my favorite, but no. But I fucking Rusev and Barrett. Come on, you know I'm liking that faction.
Ba 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 boom. All right. Yeah. Again, meaty men doing meaty things, super physical. I like the ending too with the turnbuckle and the fucking kick. Just thought it was great. There's something about men and women that are definitely willing to go the extra mile here. That I really enjoy when they play with their meat, So it is what it is.
Who doesn't?
All right. What else you got there, JC, since you're Mr. Positivity?
Dun, 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 dun. Right move. So I was obviously not a big fan of Zelina losing the U.S. title so early. But then I watched the crowd's response in Saudi Arabia to Julia, and I'm like, that was the place to do it. Because I think, especially over here, because she's so new to the main roster, she kind of got hot-shotted. She obviously has a little more work to do connecting with the crowd because of language barrier and stuff. Putting her in that part of the world and winning the title and her getting the response she got, I think it benefits, because when people watch that, they're fucking trained ponies. Like, you're all a bunch of puppets. Mark Henry said it best. So I think that was the right move to do it over there. And Julia looks damn fucking good with that title. She's always looked good with gold. She's a stud. I know you're a Julia hater, but I think this was the right move, because I think she's someone that you're going to have to work a little harder to help her get over on this main roster for all the obvious reasons. We see it all the time with the superstars, with the language barriers. Sometimes it takes a little more work, but she fucking looks like $1 million. She has a fucking very unique style and moveset, badass entrance. It's going to get there, but I think her starting as a mid-card champion and getting the win and the response she got over there was beneficial. I'm all for it. Beautiful madness. New U.S. champ. Bada bang, bada boom. I don't know why I did that part, but
yeah, please don't.
Yeah.
I was so upset because I just felt so bad for Zelina. I know that I make the tomato can jokes all the time, but I kept thinking to myself, she actually earned this a lot, and I felt
she had it.
No, I know, but I just feel like you didn't
forever, Adam.
Trust me, Joshua. Who the fuck is Adam, by the way? And so all I kept thinking to myself was I never really truly got a sense of how good she could be in the ring, and I just felt like she never really got her footing down, and I just felt like it would have been nicer to see her lose it at SummerSlam or even Evolution or something. Give her a little extra time. I don't know. it is what it is. And maybe evolution has shook up a bunch of things because of the way everything's kind of fallen. But I will say, and yeah, I know this is like typical of me or whatever, but I think you're right about the connection in the crowd. So I'll bow to that and say that you're probably right on the money with that. Because if it was in the United States, I don't think people would care as much about her yet. And I think that's really, part of why I'm the way I am about her is that I can see she's clearly good in the ring. She's clearly got a look. She's clearly got an aura. But I think there's a giant missing piece of the connection, as well as the fact that the promo is going to make her. Here's my thing, and I know this is going to come off real bad, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't know how you differentiate her from everybody else. I really don't, because there's other people who can do similar things to her. I just don't see her as somebody that is going to break out at this point. I really don't.
That's a tough take, bro.
I'm just saying.
I think that's what makes Julia and Stephanie so special to me is that they are so unique and they present themselves so much different than everyone else. Same reason why Rhea was fucking an instant star. She is so different, just so different that always works in wrestling. Different always works in wrestling because you remember it. And obviously the promo is the issue with Julia. It's gonna be, but it took Io a while to find her footing now, and look at her fucking now. She's fucking stud. It's just it can be done, and Julia is that type of talent. But saying she doesn't stand out, I think, is insane because her fucking look is just so unique. It's part of her aura, and it's gonna come there. It's gonna come, but it's going to take some time. But I think. Just trading the crowd. The Saudi had a big pop before she came out. They had a big pop when she won. So it's just starting to put that in people's mind. They'll see it, and I think they'll reap the rewards from it. But yeah, I'm assuming they'll run this back at Evolution. They'll give Zelina her rematch, and Julia will win. But I think right now, with how crowded that, especially on SmackDown, the top title picture is, having Julia just have good matches with that mid card title for a while till it clears up and she can get her footing, I think is the right move.
That's fair. I'm just saying, I just don't ever think, in my opinion, I'm going to be the one rooting for her.
You're a hater. You hate Italians and Japanese people. So
that's not it at all. That's not it at all.
Typical fucking American.
Yeah, no. I've loved plenty of Italians and I love plenty of Japanese. So don't worry about it. All right. I just think, like I said, you guys overhype her. That's all.
No.
That's all.
Everything Conway said about her before I saw her.
Listen, that's your first mistake because Conway is hyperbolic.
He was right.
No, Conway is hyperbolic of everything.
Yeah, well,
I love him.
He knows ball. He knew ball about Ospreay. He knows ball about Julia.
Oh, stop it! Don't fucking suck his dick. All right, come on.
Well, was he trying to push Jay White on me? I can see
he was pushing Jay White, so he's not 100%. 2 out of 3
ain't bad, bro. It's better than your hit rate.
Listen.
You're
I'll tell you
now, for $1 million.
Right now, is she hotter now or was she hotter in NXT?
Everyone's hotter in NXT, bro. It's just the way it works for a while. It's just that's how it is because NXT is a fucking cooler show.
Whoa, Birdsky. I'm not even going to put that comment up. I'm going to fucking take that because honestly. No.
That's the theme song.
You're basically calling me something and I'm very offended by that. I'll be honest because honestly, I'm not. And honestly, I'll be honest. I think Julia's mid. There it is. She's mid. She's mid.
This is so good for Julia's career. This is so
She's so mid. She's mid.
It literally you launched Zelina already this year, and now you're gonna launch Julia. Julia's probably gonna be the greatest fucking women's wrestler of all time.
No, she's not. She's not even fucking close. She's not even gonna crack the top 25.
Adam, why don't you head back to the Gulf of America and fucking plunge yourself in it?
Oh, fuck off. Fuck all of you. That's what I got to say about that. I say one fucking thing and you guys go fucking jumping down my throat. You know what? You're all fucking sitting there.
This Julia take is just crazy to me. I just don't it's I understand not getting it right away, but you just going the other way and calling her mid.
She's mid.
Fucking Lord.
She's just not going to connect the way you guys think she's going to connect. You're hoping and praying that's going to happen.
I'm not hoping. That's not what we'll do. It took Io fucking 3 years on the main roster to be relevant. It's just it's hard. No matter how fucking good you are, it's fucking hard.
I agree, but guess who makes
book like
hold on.
Really
is it
hard.
if it's hard? Okay, Stephanie Vicaire is gonna walk right the fuck in, and guess what? She's gonna be a fucking superstar. She's never gonna listen to me. She's never gonna compete with a Stephanie Vicaire. She's never gonna Belair, Becky. She's not gonna be on that level. She's not.
Oh my god!
Get over yourselves.
So there's one of them that is on TV right now winning titles. The other one is on during fucking commercial breaks on Raw. Just saying. And you know how I feel about Stephanie. Like, that's my girl. She's my number one. But you are fucking insane.
You know what? I don't care.
Fucking talent if it fucking punched you in the face.
I work with you every week.
I don't punch you in the face, unfortunately. We're separated. You separated us during the pandemic.
Well, probably for your benefit, not mine. Anyway, let's move on. Anything else you thought was positive?
Should we talk about Judgment Day getting in all the gold?
Sure. What the fuck? Let's go.
Because this was surprising to me. For two reasons, and we can transition out of it too. But like, I love like the reaction Judgment Day got, because it's like, okay, people still do hate the New Day. But what I don't love is like, it's one of those like, this is the how we're just going to end it with the New Day. And it makes sense, because especially with the Liv thing out, you kind of want Judgment Day to thrive without Liv. How does the faction thrive? Everyone in the faction has fucking gold. Roxanne's just given a tag title because it just worked out that way. So that works. Dom already has the IC title. So Finn and JD having the tag titles. It makes so much sense booking wise. But it was like, man, they just haven't like taken advantage of the New Day thing. But you literally saw the potential in this match where like the Judgment Day, who was one of the most hated heels on the show, is getting huge pops because they're facing the fucking New Day. So but I did the shock title change. I'm not going to ever be upset with that. And again, the end game, I love them with all the gold, but it just like, it's one of those double-edged swords, man. Like, I'm happy with one side cutting off someone's head, but I'm cutting my own hand a little when I do it. So I got to be careful.
I mean, I was thinking to myself, can they turn the whole faction babyface? But I don't know. It's weird. Like, Finn, people are going to cheer because he's Finn. JD is a good fucking stud, so they're going to cheer him if he's related to Finn. And then Dom's obviously turned since WrestleMania a little bit there, especially with that AJ promo backstage. I was howling with the fucking get your glasses, old man.
He's still teetering a little because he's still getting like booed a lot when he tries to talk because it's a fun gimmick, but it's also like, yeah, we've seen the appreciation. So, but yeah, no, I think they're still going to be heels, but I think it's one of those like they're just going to teeter them. I don't know about that with a lot of people though.
But it's just like when you look at it, you're like, okay, you can't boo how good Finn Balor and JD are as a team. You can boo Dom.
I mean, you can't because they fucking cheat the whole time.
Right, but like in my head,
happen to face like.
But if you look on Monday, if you subconsciously look when they put do you ever watch this? I'm sure you do, but this is for people that don't watch. When you watch tag team wrestling in the WWE, the baby faces are always top left, heels are always bottom right, because psychology will tell you anybody that comes from the left to the right is always going to make you feel good. Anybody that comes from the right to the left is going to make you feel something's off, and you're going to hate that.
Always in New Day's spot is my point.
Yes, exactly.
They happen to be facing the New Day, who are just the most hated team right now because of what they fucking did to Big E. Like, that's not going to go away.
Okay, but I'm just saying we're on the same page here. They could be all baby faces by the end of this, which is weird to me. But then also, Liv is going to come back even more of a gigantic fucking star.
Liv's the fucking baby face coming out of this. And then if
I agree,
her, like, it's just whatever. Like, this is how you get Liv back, because I mean, Liv's one of the most popular women they got. She's just been such good as a heel, and it's fucking worked. But her coming back as like a money baby face, it's just like it's fucking sky's the limit with her. She's another one. She just fucking gets it. Just like the Solo forever. Like when people were watching Liv and NXT, and then even her first like 5 years on the main roster, were you ever thinking world champion out of Liv? Probably not. But she's fucking got there multiple times now because can work at it. The same thing can happen with a Solo Sikoa. We're starting to see her pay off the Dom Mysterio. It just got to be patient with some of these prospects. It takes time. It doesn't just happen overnight. You know, same thing goes with, I don't know, someone else we just talked about. We don't need to revisit it.
I will say this much though. Do you think we live in a world? Because I can see this. This is like Nostradamus Nestle. And like I could see between now and Royal Rumble, right, that Roxanne Perez becomes a women's world champion.
Really?
Yeah. And then you have the Liv comeback, chase her all the way to Mania. I could see that happening. But think about that. That's 9 months from now. Right?
Yeah, I think they'd be more likely to do that with the mid-card one. I don't know, just because Raw, like, it just, obviously, he was the champ now, but you still have Rhea. You have Stephanie, who's probably going to be the next to feud with them. I think that's why they're just holding her off. And then, obviously, I think when Becky and Lyra are done with the mid-card title, they're probably going back to the top. So it just, It's crowded. I mean, Roxanne deserves. She's a stud. She's going to be a many-time women's world champion and whatever. But I feel like it's also one of those like that. Maybe is a feud that doesn't necessarily need the title.
Maybe not. But I mean,
they don't do very often.
Right.
But they did it with Jade and Naomi. So
I'm just thinking to myself, if you say 9 months, right?
It is a long time. It is, but I just don't know if I see a path for her to get there.
That's fine.
Because I think it's just you have the tag titles, and then if that runs its course, you have the mid card title. So
okay. Fair enough. Anything else that you thought was positive there, JC?
Nope.
Okay, there we go. I'll go through some stuff very quickly, I guess. We don't really have to talk too much about SmackDown, as we talked about the good stuff on SmackDown that already kind of happened there. I will say this much. When you're thinking about Raw, I just kind of I didn't know if you noticed this, but that Goldberg package I thought was fucking great.
That was good.
And then as I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, they went out of their way to not put Brock Lesnar in there. Did you notice that? Did you actually notice it when you were watching?
They're not at that point. They haven't really referenced him or used him or shown him yet. Like it's just one of those like.
But even like seeing him get his ass kicked. You know what I mean? Like you could do that.
Yeah, especially with someone like Goldberg, you have so much shit to pull from. Like that's an easy cut.
See, I call bullshit on that. I call flag on the play because here's the thing: when did Goldberg come back to beat Brock Lesnar in like 6 seconds?
If you put Brock Lesnar in the package is no longer about Goldberg. It's like, oh my god, they showed Brock Lesnar. It's just like it's the same. It's a distraction. It's the same reason why like certain like sports athletes who are too big of stars, like they just don't get signed because they're a fucking distraction. Like it takes away from the whole point of what you're trying to do. And the whole point was that was a badass Goldberg package. But if Brock Lesnar was in there, guess what everyone's fucking clipping off and talking about? That's the problem. That's why it's an easy cut. It's just like, it's not like that's the only guy Goldberg ever faced, or that was like the biggest moment of his career. Like, yeah, sure, it's when he returned, but it's like Goldberg's had so many fucking moments and fucking jackhammers and spears and shit that like you can easily skip it when you're doing a Goldberg hype video.
Okay. All right, let's get heaty. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Well, we could go right back to the Doomsday. Apparently, they're going to call them.
Let's talk about this shit.
All right, Danny, cover your ears. Earmuff it, Danny.
Danny agrees with us. He thinks his faction sucks too.
No, and but he loves Seth Rollins.
There is, but it's like, I've been saying this, and when they did it, I didn't like it. It's like they've done this so many times with Seth. It's just like he's not that guy. He is a top guy. He is not that guy. He is not fucking carry a show guy. He never has been. The shows are the worst when he does it. And this faction fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. And it has two guys I fucking love in it. And it has fucking Paul Heyman, who is a fucking mute now. He's a fucking mute.
Go ahead.
I don't need to rant about it again. I ranted about it last week. Fucking go back, spin the tape. It's the same fucking thing. You have Paul Heyman as your manager. You don't fucking let him talk. Like what? It's frustrating.
Okay.
It's frustrating because there could be something here. You could make this work a lot better. And the easiest part of it is to fucking let Paul Heyman do what he does best. And Seth, you just fucking stand there, bro. Just fucking stand there. And then when you do talk, it means something. Just fucking watch Roman Reigns tape. It's so fucking simple. So simple.
I'm going to ask this question to JC, but also anybody in the chat that's listening. I'm really curious what your thoughts are. And I know you don't care, JC, but just pretend to care for a second. When they said he's already gone for the night on Monday, he's working on plan B. When you heard that, what did you think plan B was?
Probably a new member.
Okay.
I don't know. Why? Do you have a better idea?
No, I was just wondering because it felt like plan B makes it seem like they're deciding what championship to go after, perhaps. I don't know. It just feels like there's always a backup plan, right? So it's like, what does that mean? Does that mean he cashes in and loses? Is he ready to cash in and lose? I don't know. It's just...
It did catch my attention because obviously, like, Braun's like, oh, don't need blah, 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 because it's with him. But I don't know. That is the one thing about Seth and his booking over the years and his character. Like, he is always like a step ahead for the most part. So it's just like, that is a positive with him. So it's something, I mean, it's good to leave breadcrumbs. And it does. It's just same thing like when they did the Cody thing. It's something that catches my attention because it's like, that's something I have to pay attention to. They're not going to do it now. But when they do it, I'm going to be like, but this one, I don't know. This one to me just feels like it's like some sort of like, I don't know, new member. Cause like, he already has the money in the bank. Like, so like, what else does he need? Like, you just need that like ace in the hole. So when you go to cash in, it's just like you saw with Solo. Like he had Tonga Loa came back, but that was like the distraction plan from the real plan, which was fucking Tala there coming over and helping them win. It's just
Holla,
like
holla, holla.
it's like typical heel thing. There's always something. Like you saw with Roman Reigns when he faced Drew McIntyre. Like Solo Sikoa was his fucking like secret plan. You know what I mean? It's just like So would that would make the most sense for me with Seth because he already has the fucking briefcase. So like, what else does he? What else would he have to go work on? He already has that. Like, I don't know.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I thought personally when I got to the main event of Monday Night Raw, the tag team match was really good, and I think Sammy deserves a lot of credit because Sammy brought that crowd back because I thought they kind of just sat on their hands for a portion of that tag team match, and I agree that it was kind of iffy until Sammy kind of took over, and I think that's to his credit. He can always do that. He can always make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So I wanted to give him a circle. And then the one thing I noticed this, JC, and I don't know if anybody else noticed this because I never saw Heyman do this in the Bloodline. He got up on the apron and he was willing to get involved. So he is a little different with this Oracle instead of being the wise man. He's been called the Oracle for the last couple of weeks, but he hasn't had to get involved with a Brock Lesnar, right? Brock Lesnar can eat anybody for dinner. He didn't really get in the way for, Roman Reigns there. He was just the wise man giving him guidance.
The punk stuff.
Sure, but that was kind of whatever. But now he's up on the apron willing to sacrifice. So it is a little bit different in that he's not going to be the typical like, hello, my name is Paul Heyman and I'm here as the Oracle for, the visionary. I don't know. It is a little different. I just feel like I'm watching it and thinking this is a little different, but then of course,
it's just one of those things. It's like, it's just, you have something that is so effective and it would help this other thing be more effective and you're just not doing it. I don't know. It hasn't made sense the way they've done it. And it becomes repetitive. And we've talked about his promos till we're dead in the face. It's just like, they're all the fucking same. So I don't know. It's tough. It surprises me that they haven't changed up what they're doing, but I don't know. I hope that like this plan B or something like leads to something fun because if not, like the same matches every week with the same guys gets a little exhausting.
Daniel says he doesn't speak anymore. He has to do something.
That's true.
I don't disagree. He could be wallpaper, Daniel. I don't know.
He pretty much is in this faction, which is kind of unfortunate.
All right. Fair enough. Anything that you got upset about? This is great podcasting, by the way.
Because I'm looking at these things. And
you
then
can go away.
What did you think of Bayley and Lyra ending in a draw?
Well, we have to
get the triple threat, but
sure.
It's like, why not just have Becky fucking attack them both? I don't know. I feel like that's more effective than the fucking draw. No one likes a fucking draw.
I think that's the point. That's the point of you not.
I know, but like we know it's all bullshit. Like it just.
I think
it's a device. It's the device I've never enjoyed because it's not believable.
Here's my thought process when I was watching it. I don't think it helped either woman.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I think that's a problem where it's like, okay, we know Becky Lynch is Becky Lynch, right? And she's top of the mountain, right? But what the fuck are we trying to do with Bayley? And then like you do that and you're like, okay, the most interesting part of that entire thing was like, let them fight. And then they didn't fight, which I was like, okay, that's cool. We could have just had another segment instead of this match, but whatever, fine. But I feel like Lyra was on an upward trajectory. Bayley was sort of maybe kind of finding her footing, but still iffy. And then you do that. I feel like to me as a fan, you leave me uninterested in what's going on. And I know that this is probably going to be the best feud and probably one of the best matches on Evolution. But getting there, as we've talked about, if this whole women's pay-per-view or PLE is, oh, we know these matches are be bangers, but the fucking lead-up is dog shit, you're going to have 7 matches of that stuff. How the fuck are you supposed to get everybody to go see that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the problem why I just didn't like this is because this is like I think we referenced it earlier. Like this has been the best women's feud going right now. It's just been so good, and it's just like it's the match we're excited for. And just sometimes I think like it's one of those like the answer is so simple. I mean, we all do it in our lives. Like it's right there. It's simple, and just overcomplicate it for no reason. And I think wrestling booking is the same way. It's just like you overbook this for no reason. Like it was simple. It was already there. And like the other example of that is I saw Danny put it in the chat, and I think it fits here too. Is another one where it's so simple. Like it's one of those like we know Rhea was going to challenge for the title. She's a fucking top star. She's been patient, like whatever. But you have her come out and just fucking talking. And the champion interrupts her and being like, "I talk to the GM. He's letting me pick my opponent." instantly it's just like it's another shoe device. It's so much simpler. Like you have fucking Rhea go up to Io and demand a title shot like that. Just like that, no one would have a problem with that because she's fucking Rhea Ripley. She's waited her turn. She's coming off a big win. It makes sense. But to have her come out and just kind of be like nonchalant, like, yeah, I'd like to get a title shot. And the champion to come out and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna give you one. It's just like, well, why? Like it's like I am like it's I don't know. It's just it's another thing where it's just like I think you just made it more complicated for no reason. It was like the triple threat going into WrestleMania. You're overbooking this when it's just so fucking simple, but you're trying to do all these extra things, and it's just like we're watching it and we're all just like, I know this match is gonna bang. This is the match we wanted, but it's like you didn't have to do this. It was so simple. You can do this simple formula. No one would be mad if you just did the simple formula. Know why? Because it fucking works. But it's just like they get too cute sometimes. And both of these feuds, they're getting too cute.
I think for me, as I'm watching this, I don't care how good the match is because the match should be good.
Agreed.
But the lead ups to these matches, and this is not just a woman thing in general. This is just a match. This is how I look at wrestling in general. When I think matches that'll stick out in my mind forever, yes, the match has to be incredible or fantastic in some way, but the lead up has to be just as enjoyable for me as a fan.
Because that's how you get the moments during the match.
Right, exactly. And here's my thing. In the recent memory, at least the last year, I feel like it is just exacerbated here, where it feels like no women's championship or women's feud matters. They just go, that's a fucking great match. And then we'll never think about it like, wow, the lead up and the match equal together, one of the best matches of the year. And I feel like they're doing them a disservice with this shit. And when you get to Evolution, I'm going to be sitting there going, so you're going to tell me most likely, right, that Rhea and Io are going to main event. Most likely.
That's the main event.
That's bullshit if that's the way you lead it up. Like, what's there in a package to put in that? Like, what are you going to
WrestleMania? They have
but I just feel like that's just fucking lazy shit.
Rhea's never beaten Io either, right?
Right.
Isn't that the gimmick, yeah.
So it just feels like I get it, but you could do more. You could do better. And it's just, I know you're going to parade out Trish Stratus, and I know you're going to parade out Nicabella, whatever the heck her name is. I'm fucking tired. I'm exhausted. And like, you could just do so many things here, but it's just, I don't know. Here's what I'm nervous about. Evolution itself, the first one was great, but that didn't sell out. That didn't pack the fucking room.
Well, that's why it's packaged with Saturday Night Main Event. You buy tickets to both. It's just
I know.
That's why you do it.
It just feels like
PR out of it, but you also make sure you're selling tickets. Like it's a no-brainer. That's why fucking Goldberg's booked on Saturday Night Main Event. It fucking helps everything.
Yeah.
It's combo package. It's genius. It's how you do it, because that's part of the reason why they just haven't done it again, because it's not going to generate as much money, because the beautiful part of WWE is it is a fucking combo show of everything. So there's something that somebody wants in all the shows, but like there are some people who just don't like women's wrestling, which whatever. We enjoy women's wrestling, but some people just don't. So you're already cutting down your audience, but by making it a combo ticket, it's genius. So that's why I think it took them so long to do it again. And they could probably make this a yearly thing, because now that they have these Saturday night main events, it makes sense to pair it together, because you're not going to do like an all men's pay-per-view. You can do a Saturday night main event with 4 or 5 men's matches and be the all men's pay-per-view and have that comboed with the women's. And this is genius marketing.
Okay.
Surprised it took them this long to figure it out.
Okay.
I don't care about anything on SmackDown. You can quick eats or you can go to the Hopes.
Nah, let's just go to the fucking Hope. Go ahead.
Glorious. Well, speaking of Evolution Nestlemania, I have a prepared Hope this week, unlike you. It's like the first time in a long time. So I'm going to talk about it and brag about it, because you're only as good as your last game. And boom, I'm a winner. So I have a return and a debut that I would like to see at Evolution. It's the all-women's pay-per-view. Why not go all out? But the return's pretty simple. Nestle, do you like screeches?
Screeches.
Do you want to hear Paige screech? Because I do.
Oh, wow.
Paige returned that Evolution. What a spot that would be for her. I don't even know what she's doing. I don't even know if she cares about wrestling anymore. I don't know if she's in shape. But yeah, Paige returns. The other part of my hope is a debut. And you're going to love this one, Nestlemania, because the rumors are hot and heavy for her debut. And she is nowhere to be found on the other show. So Sometimes you got to get your teeth cleaned. The doctor will see you now. Give me Britt Baker debuting at Evolution. So we have a Page return. We have a Britt Baker debut. Great Things comes in 3, so I'll have to think of a third one. But yeah, that's my hope. Pretty simple. It's like, why not have some fun here? Why not bring Paige back? Have her screech? Why not have Britt Baker debut? Have her, pluck out some teeth. So hashtag JC knows. Hashtag JC hopes come true. A return and a debut.
I don't want Britt Baker anywhere near my WWE. I really don't.
Perfect for WWE.
She sucks. She's fucking sucks.
Perfect.
Sucks.
And then maybe when her and Julia face off.
Yes. Please. Please. You want to know why? Because at least if Julia was facing Britt Baker, you'd see that both of them are mid. That's what you would find out.
Oh boy.
There you go.
Oh, you are just not helping yourself.
I don't care. Britt Baker.
You're digging so far in that hole, we're not gonna be able to hear you anymore. I'm gonna need a new co-host.
That doesn't matter. I'll just dig out the other side of the world and come back the other way. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
And you're gonna end up in Japan, the people you hate? Yeah.
I don't hate Japan.
Spun it around.
Nice try. No, I don't hate. I don't hate Julia. I'm just saying, show me something.
You called Italy and Japan mid. I take offense.
I did not call those countries mid.
You're probably the one who came and fucking changed my fucking street lines, you piece of shit.
Street lines? What are you talking about?
You didn't hear about this bullshit?
No, tell me about it.
I was away, so they're lucky. So in my neighborhood, it's an Italian neighborhood.
Oh, the stripes, right?
Yeah, have the red, green, and white stripes on all the streets. In the middle of the night on either Thursday or Friday, they removed it on my street because it is a throughway, apparently the main street, and they replaced it with yellow. And oh man, the olds are upset. I'm very upset. But like now they have the backtracking of the mayor being like, oh, well, we had to do this, blah, blah. Then why'd you do it in the middle of the night in the darkness and not tell anyone? Because you knew you were going to piss people off. And now fucking backtracking, being like, oh, we might put them back. It might just have to be temporary. Fucking frauds. Attacking. I'm not going to go as far as like all the people on the Non-Anthem Facebook group being like, attacking our culture and blah, blah, this and that, which I mean, I agree, but it's absolute bullshit. I have to look at fucking gross ass yellow piss lines on my street now instead of the beautiful colors of the Italian flag. I don't know what's happening to this country. It's absolute bullshit.
Then not JC America.
They're lucky I was fucking out of the state because I would have been out there with a picket fence with all the olds and we would have been.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How much Italian are you? You're like 117?
My great grandmother came on a boat in 19.
So what does that make you? 164th?
I don't fucking know. It's more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take pride in my culture, unlike a lot of you white people who just hate all the other cultures.
I can tell you what I am, but then you'd make fun of me.
Gulf of America.
No, I'm Polish. Happy to be Polish.
Peruvian.
I'm also, I'll say this much. I'm happy to be Polish, and I'm happy to be 164th Iroquois Indian. Bet you didn't think that was going to be happening.
I mean, that probably helped you on college applications.
You know what? My parents looked into it. Not enough in the bloodline. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Daniel. If he's hating on the Japanese in the way he is in Boston, could be the next Pearl Harbor. That's fucking terrible. You're a fucking terrible human being with this shit. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we had a tea party.
Anyway, my hope is interesting off of Monday night when I was watching this. We had, of course, Gunther talking about how he's going to just beat up Bill Goldberg and end him and all that stuff. And then he said, what's next for him? Seth Rollins comes out, boards the fucking crowd as normal. Then he goes, you went all the way to Saudi Arabia and fucking lost. What a fucking loser you are. You didn't even do anything about it. And he said, no, as long as CM Punk's not champion, I'm doing my job. CM Punk comes out, he fucking boots him, and then he runs away. LA Knight dumps him all over the fucking place with popcorn and does the whole fucking beer bash thing. And CM Punk knocks down Gunther on the way out on his ass like a fucking baby Huey toddler that he is. I kept thinking to myself, okay, folks, here's what we're cooking up for SummerSlam. It's going to be Punk versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Punk wins and beats Gunther. Seth Rollins immediately cashes in, make sure that Punk cannot be champion, and then we're off to the shitty races with the Rollins Raw for the rest of the fucking year that we're all going to hate and no one's going to enjoy. That's my hope. CM Punk becomes champion for 45 seconds, and then Seth Rollins cashes in on him to make everybody really hate this faction, and it really will be Click Doomsday.
That is the better scenario than him cashing in on Cody or Cena and taking the real title. At least he'll
yes,
one again.
Yes,
I'm fine with that because I just like it's inevitable. I've been expecting it, but yeah, it's funny because Punk and Drew have their thing, but like Punk and Seth also has a thing. Punk needs to stop making enemies. He's never going to win a fucking title at this rate.
I'm just saying. It seems like a logical choice here.
That's pretty obvious, yeah.
And it won't be it probably won't even be a night one ender. It'll just be a random match somewhere, but it's okay.
It feels like Cody Cena's night 2, and that if they do Gunther Punk, that's probably the main event of night 1.
I hope you're right, because honestly,
what else would you put there? What else is big enough?
Right now, if Roman Reigns comes back,
it's the 2 world titles. Yeah,
Roman Reigns could come back.
I think it's more likely Roman Reigns would come back at that show.
Okay, I can see that. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So. All right, time to get to the.
Don't call it a comeback, Nestlemania. We're going to Friday nights, and I'm giving it to 2-hour SmackDown, baby. We're back this week. 1 less hour I have to fucking fast forward through. The negatives are there'll probably be less time for tag teams and the woman, but it's just 3-hour SmackDown, especially this time of year, is tough, man. So 2-hour SmackDowns for the summer. It's a good decision. So they're getting my comeback this week.
Do you think they're going to make Raw longer because of this?
No, because the beautiful thing of Netflix is they can go like 2 hours and 10 minutes like they did on Monday, or they can go 2:45 if fucking you have to fit in a Roman Reigns entrance, you know? Okay, so that's fine. That's the beauty of Netflix.
Okay, fair enough. My comeback goes to one Johnny Gargano from Friday Night SmackDown. That's right, JC. Don't give me that fucking look. They had a match against, what was the team? Andrade and Phoenix, which is a fucking amazing match. But in the match, Johnny either got hurt for real or was selling like a fucking $1 million. Either way, whether he was hurt and he gutted it out or he's a fantastic seller, I was thinking to myself, man, he's making this match way more interesting, way more ridiculous. And it just kept getting, it's one of those things where it's just like the perfect matches for me. And I wouldn't say this was a perfect tag match, but it was pretty good. Was just like, no, they can't. No, they keep going. No, and it just felt like it was a nothing match. It got thrown together, and I was just super enjoying this match. And I was like, is he going to keep going? Good for him. Look at him go. So Johnny Gargano, as long as I'm not a fan, and I know TJ's probably sitting there scratching his head going, did Adam hit his? I'm giving my comeback to Johnny Gargano because I thought that was a brilliant performance one way or the other. And I think we didn't talk about it, so I wanted to bring it up here in the comeback.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I win back some of my street cred on that one?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, whatever. Wow, you just poo-poo everything about everything I do, don't you?
I can't. I gotta no-sell you a little bit, you know?
You no-sell me.
I gotta Jade Cargill your ass.
Cargill? Yeah, you can do whatever you can Jade Cargill my ass. I don't even know what that means. You just said you're gonna Jade Cargill my ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna no-sell you.
Okay.
Well, how do you not get that? It's literally your fucking gimmick. You complain about it every week, how the fucking giant monster won't sell for you.
Are you a giant monster who won't sell for me?
Yeah, pretty much.
Really?
Big old finish. Sure? I have no fucking idea. I didn't see anything previewed for the next week on
for Christ's sake, Joshua.
I'm sure you're gonna bring up some AEW bullshit, but I'll talk about LFG while you do that because new season's back, baby. We got our casting characters and we got some standouts. The dude, the Italian guy, so you probably fucking hate him. He's a fucking
for God's sakes.
Fucking stud. Wears a bandana. He's fucking damn good. The rest of the newbies, they got some work to do. But excited for the new season. Anthony wrestles next week.
Didn't their fucking ratings go down and like plummet?
Like, I mean, nobody gives it every show when they go on, but like these, I love these. They're a fun show, and if you like seeing Bubba get fucking emasculated, then you'll enjoy this one because Roxanne's boyfriend told him he didn't want to be in his team because last year he chose the other guy over me, so don't pick me. It's great.
Oh right, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Wait, so like, are the rest of the people still in there?
So I think there's 2 new males and 2 new females. So the 2 winners are gone because they obviously won. And then there's 2 others that didn't come back. I think it was, I don't remember who the male was. Oh yeah, no, yeah. There's 2 others, but the one thing that you won't like is, and I don't like either, is they replaced Mickey because I don't think she wanted to do the show anymore with Michelle McCool, who is way less cool than Mickey James.
My goodness.
But Booker, and I will say, Undertaker has made up because he is very good on the show. So I no longer despise him for those shitty last couple of years he gave us. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Bubba's always a good time because he's fucking Bubba. He's an asshole. Mm-hmm. So,
all right then.
Yeah, you got AEW up yet? Did I fill enough time?
Yeah, thank you. We got AEW's Dynamite 300. That's right, 300 episodes of a fucking shitty show nobody watches, but we'll watch it because we talk about it all the time. Here you go, JC. Ready? Here we go. We are gonna have. This is the one that makes the fucking Conways of the world bonerific. We got Okada versus Ibushi. Thoughts?
Cool.
Great. Moving on.
What are the stakes?
I don't think there are stakes. They're just
there you go.
a match. He's a rival, and it's the first time that they're facing each other in AEW. Blah 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 blah. I'm sure it'll be a fucking great fucking match that nobody will care about. Okay, are we ready? Moving on. We've got. Oh Jesus! All right, we've got. I can't believe this is an actual match. We've got Brody versus MJF versus AR Fox versus Anthony Bowens. And the winner gets a number 2 spot in the Casino Battle Royal. I want to bring this up because our boy Dommy said this. When you get into the number 1 spot, isn't this like the Royal Rumble where you want the last spot in the gauntlet, not the first spot in the gauntlet? Like, I'm confused. Why would you want the number 1 or number 2 spot?
Because you can win the match early before people get in. It never happens that way.
But that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, like, no, in theory, you want to be the first one in there because you can win immediately, in theory.
But no one's going to do that.
I know, because they don't book it that way. But in theory, number 2 would be a good spot. Okay. In theory.
Well, we both know nothing happened. And here's something, because it's, Superman's coming out soon on July 11th. Make sure you go watch that. The Dynamite 300 main event, heroes versus villains. This is a real thing, JC. Oh, we've got Kyle O'Reilly and his auto parts partner, Roderick Strong, and Bandito versus the Young Cucks and Takeshita. Yeah, whoop-de-doo, Basil. What does it all mean?
They have a pay-per-view in 2 weeks.
They do. Like all in. Coming hard, coming fast, coming strong.
Hook 'em. Hey,
I don't know. Oh, and we also have your girl Mercedes versus Mina. So
that'll be good. People will enjoy that.
Well, we'll hope. But I
do love me some Mina.
I don't know. I just feel like, man, this is the biggest thing of your year. What the fuck are you doing? I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah. I don't think I watched Dynamite last week because I don't think I watched it Wednesday night. Maybe I did. Did I watch it? I might have watched it and fell asleep watching it. I don't remember anything that happened. So, okay. No, and I am excited when we get off this program is to watch NXT.
All right. Well, go ahead. Go watch it. I think we're done.
Rose up to and all the other studs on the show,
Mm-hmm.
They got matches at Evolution too. So
good for them. Anyway, I think we're good. You want to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right. Thank you for watching and listening to the Jobber Knocker podcast. We'll be back next week with some more Jobber Knockery. I love you, Solo.